Hello and welcome to the Embrace the Mud podcast. Today is day 26 of the Love Boost Challenge, a challenge that we have been doing all month long in February 2024 to enhance the connection that we have to ourselves and our most cherished connections with the people that we love the most. Today we're going to be diving into the value of performing acts of service as well as doing a mini review of the challenges from the last few days. So let's dive in. You are listening to the Embrace the Mud podcast, where we discuss all things related to healthy, joyful, and life-giving relationships. Why focus on relationships? Because the quality of our intimate partnerships and close connections influences our health, happiness, and longevity more than anything else in our lives. Relationships matter a lot. So together, let's jump into the mud, aka our messy relationships, pull some weeds, plant some seeds, and create an enriching environment where strong relationships can take root. I am your grateful host, Dara Posner. I am a relational disaster working toward relational mastery. I am also a positive psychology coach, a relational mindset coach, a blogger, and now a podcaster. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Embrace the Mud podcast, where we discuss all things related to healthy, joyful, life-giving relationships. If you are a fan of this podcast, please subscribe, follow, like, review, and share. Your engagement in this way is crucial to the success of the podcast, and I appreciate you taking just a few seconds to support my mission, which is to help people like you flourish in life and love. We are officially in the final stretch of the Love Boost Challenge. Today is day 26. It is a Monday, and our challenge officially ends this coming Thursday, which is the 29th of February. So just a few days left to get to intentionally participate in these challenges that I'm creating for you. And again, the goal was to commit to a daily intention of strengthening your bonds, whether that is the bond you have with yourself, maybe that was your focus for the month, or your relationship with your partner, really enhancing the sense of connection and intimacy there, or some other relationship in your life, or maybe you were focusing on the relationships that you have with yourself and others all month long. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It was just whatever you felt called to. So hopefully you've been doing this every single day. And if not, that's okay. The days that you can. And of course, it's never too late. It's not like you can't practice these things after February. In fact, the invitation is the opposite. To make all of the challenges that you learned throughout this month, whether it's to practice self-care together with your partner or on your own to connect, or it was mindful breathing, or it was creating a vision for the future, or having adventures, or celebrating love and connection, or writing love letters, or building empathy. We covered so many things. So you can always go back to the days you missed or repeat days you've already done over and over and over again to continue to infuse your relationships with the attention and energy and nourishment that they need to thrive, because that's what we're all about here on the Embrace the Mud podcast. Not just okay relationships, not just working relationships, but truly thriving, flourishing, life-giving relationships. So in line with that, what have we been focusing on? What have we been challenging ourselves with these last few days? So we are picking up with day 22, and on that day, the challenge was all about goals. Your first option was to review your relationship goals. If you're a single person, what are your goals for relationships? Do you want a romantic partnership? If so, what do you want that romantic partnership to look like? What's the purpose of that relationship in your life? And then have some specific steps that you can take towards fulfilling that goal and celebrate your progress along the way. If you're in a relationship, the invitation, the challenge to you that day was to revisit the goals that you have together. And I'll tell you this, in working with lots of different people over the years, I've learned that lots of couples don't have shared goals. And yet this is an essential component of staying bonded and feeling connected to each other and excited about the relationship when you have things that you're working toward together that excite you both. So you want to discuss any adjustments to the goals that you've made. Maybe there are some changes that need to happen, or some goals need to be put in place, and also celebrating any achievements that you've already had together in your relationship. Day 23 was all about vulnerability. Oh my gosh, such an essential ingredient to connection. Practicing vulnerability is non-negotiable if you want to really experience deep and true intimacy. And yes, that includes your relationship with yourself. Being able to be honest with yourself about how you truly feel, what it is that you want, to be able to, really just look inside and be able to admit to yourself your fears, your insecurities, your desires, your dreams, everything. And in our relationships, we want to practice vulnerability by expressing our desires, by expressing what it is that we truly feel and even fear, and to express our boundaries as well. And we want to share in vulnerable moments in our relationships, really confessing what's on our hearts to our partners so that we can deepen emotional intimacy. Day 24 was about learning love languages. I think most people know what love languages are. And, the sort of, official list includes 5 different things. But love languages can expand beyond that. Love languages can be about whatever it is that you attune to, that you recognize really makes you feel loved. It could be something general. It could be something really specific. But the goal here was to discover what your true love languages are. What are the behaviors and actions that other people can take to make you feel loved? And are you attuned to the love languages of the people in your life? Such an important aspect of being able to flourish in relationship is to know how to love the people closest to us, and also to be able to communicate to others how we need and want to be loved. Yesterday was day 25, and we were focusing on forgiveness. The truth of the matter is that people in successful relationships are excellent forgivers. They have to be, because we are human and we are going to make mistakes and we are going to hurt each other and be hurt. And so learning how to forgive and being willing to forgive is so important. And I am going to do in the very near future a whole separate podcast episode about forgiveness, because there are so many layers to it. And it really just matters, how we define forgiveness and what we believe is required in order for forgiveness to take place. So I realize this is a complicated topic, and I definitely want to dive into it sometime very, very soon. But the challenge was to, practice forgiveness for past mistakes, for your own mistakes, and direct that forgiveness towards yourself or towards someone that you love, so that you can leave those grievances behind and strengthen your bond through the process of doing so. And that brings us to today, day 26, which is all about acts of service. What are your challenges today? Well, your option number 1 is to perform an act of service for a friend or a family member or someone in your community, maybe a neighbor, and to strengthen your connections by really offering yourself. Service is such an important element of relationship, to really show up for people in this key way is what strengthens our bonds. You can also perform a small act of service toward yourself. Maybe there's something that you've been putting off or procrastinating on that if it gets done, it will just really relieve some anxiety, relieve some stress. It will create more peace internally, and to make you feel like you can really rely on and trust yourself, which will increase or enhance that bond that you have with yourself. And of course, if you're in a relationship, this is an invitation to you today to complete a small act of service for your partner. Think about those love languages. What is it that they really value? Maybe acts of service is their love language. Maybe that's their top love language. So think of something you can do for your partner today that would make their life easier or just more wonderful today. All right, so that brings us up to speed. And I've been sick these last few days, so that's why we're kind of bundling these today. I got back from vacation. I was so happy to get back in the groove, and then I was taken down and not feeling well for several days, right in time for the weekend, by the way. Isn't that wonderful when that happens? I will be back tomorrow, though, for sure, now that I'm feeling great again, with another episode for you, and we'll be covering day 27. So let's all look forward to that challenge together. But today we are focused on acts of service. So I hope that you will take advantage of the opportunity to do something loving and supportive for someone that you care about, or for yourself, or both. And if you feel compelled to, I would love to hear about it. So you can either write to me at dara@mudcoaching.com, or hang out with me on Instagram. Drop a comment below today's challenge post and let me know what you decided to do and how it went. In the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, please remember, you are wired for love and connection. You are capable of love and connection. You are worthy of love and connection. I'll see you soon.